Stand aside, human. You're not worth killing.
Then you've already made the mistake that's going to destroy.
The Veth'kai called their empire the Eternal Dominion, and for 3,000 years, nothing had proven them wrong. Their ships blotted out suns. Their warriors stood 9 feet tall, armored in bioluminescent exoskeleton that could deflect plasma rounds. They did not conquer worlds. They absorbed them, quietly, completely, like a tide swallowing sand. Earth had been absorbed 14 years ago. Marcus Hale didn't remember the war. He remembered the silence after, the ash-colored sky over Chicago, the ceasefire broadcast playing on repeat, and his mother telling him to keep his eyes down around the Veth'kai. Always keep your eyes down. He was 31 now, a servant in the household of Queen Sova'ra, one of 12 Veth'kai regional governors who divided what used to be North America between them like a dinner plate. The estate sat where Denver once stood. White towers, gravity gardens, 600 rooms filled with alien art that made human eyes water if you stared too long. Marcus cleaned floors, polished carapace furniture, fed the queen's 3 children, small creatures called Veth'kai, no bigger than human toddlers, with wide amber eyes and soft silver skin. They were not yet warriors. They were not yet anything. He had been raising them for 2 years while Queen Sova'ra commanded border campaigns in the Southern Territories. The Veth'kai had learned 17 human words. More, warm, story. Again, Marcus had learned something too, that underneath 3,000 years of conquest, the children of conquerors still reach for someone when the lights went dark. He never let himself forget what the Veth'kai had taken, but he never forgot what the children hadn't done either. The attack came on a Tuesday because evil never announces itself with ceremony. Marcus was reading to the Veth'kai in the lower garden when the estate's outer wall detonated. Not an accident, not a malfunction, a shaped charge, the kind used by the Veth'kai purifier caste, extremists who believed that regional governors had grown soft by allowing human servants inside sacred bloodline households. 3 purifiers breached the east corridor in 7 seconds. Marcus heard them before he saw them. The heavy magnetic click of combat exoskeleton locking into battle configuration. The hiss of atmosphere displacement as 9-foot frames moved at full speed through a hallway built for beings exactly their size. He grabbed all 3 Veth'kai without thinking. The smallest one, the one Marcus privately called Pip because she couldn't pronounce her own Veth'kai name, made a sound he had never heard her make before. High-pitched, terrified. Chill. He pressed her against his chest. Quiet now. Quiet. The garden had one exit, back through the corridor, and one other option. A maintenance shaft Marcus used every Thursday to replace the hydration filters for the gravity garden's root system. 18 inches wide, 400 feet long. No Veth'kai alive could fit inside it. He got the children in. He went in last. The purifiers swept the garden 12 seconds later. Marcus heard the amber stalks of alien flora being shredded by plasma sweeps. He heard them communicating in Veth'kai battle tongue, clipped, furious, certain. The young ones cannot have gone far. The human cannot run. Marcus crawled. In the dark, 3 children pressed against him, silver skin luminescent enough that he could see their faces, wide-eyed, silent, trusting him completely. 400 feet had never felt so long. Halfway through, the shaft shook. The purifiers were dismantling the garden wall, looking for access points. Dust rained down. Pip grabbed Marcus's collar with both small hands and held on. He kept moving. He had a plan. That was the thing the purifiers never accounted for. Not a soldier's plan. Not a warrior's plan. The plan of a man who had spent 2 years memorizing every inch of a building while everyone inside it forgot he existed. The maintenance shaft terminated in the estate's atmospheric regulation hub, a pressurized room the size of a gymnasium, packed with equipment that kept 900,000 cubic feet of air at precise Veth'kai comfortable temperatures. Marcus had replaced filters in this room 61 times. He knew where every valve was. He knew which conduits ran to which section of the estate. He also knew that Veth'kai bioluminescent exoskeleton, the armor that stopped plasma rounds, that made purifier warriors functionally invincible in open combat, was a living biological system. It breathed. Marcus settled the 3 Veth'kai behind the largest conduit bank, pressed his finger to his lips. Pip nodded. The other 2 mimicked her. Then he went to work. He didn't override the system. Overrides required authorization codes he'd never have. Instead, he did what maintenance workers do. He went manual. Valve by valve. Junction by junction. He dropped the oxygen concentration in the eastern wing from 21% to 11% in 4 minutes flat. Not enough to hurt the Veth'kai back here, near the fresh intake. More than enough to starve a living exoskeleton of the atmospheric oxygen it needed to maintain its electrochemical armor bond. He heard the purifiers breach the hub door 30 seconds later. He was already behind them. The first one's armor flickered, bioluminescence stuttering like a dying screen. The warrior reached for the atmospheric panel, confused, certain this was a system error. The second one turned and finally, looked at the human standing in the corner holding a manual pressure wrench. They had conquered 100 worlds. They had never once wondered what the janitor was thinking. Marcus hit the primary recirculation bypass. A wall of pressurized atmosphere slammed through the eastern corridor like a physical fist, driving all 3 purifiers into the reinforced bulkhead at the end of the hall. Combat exoskeleton, stripped of its bioelectric charge, crumpled like tin foil. The sound was enormous. Then it was quiet. Pip's voice came from behind the conduit bank. More. Marcus laughed, the broken, exhausted, disbelieving laugh of a man who had just done something that shouldn't have been possible and knew it. No, he said. I think that's enough. Queen Sova'ra's warship breached atmosphere 40 minutes later. She came through her own estate's wreckage at full stride. Exoskeleton blazing gold with command-cast fury. Prepare to find her children dead and her household ash. She found Marcus Hale sitting on the floor of the atmospheric hub, back against the wall, 3 Veth'kai piled on top of him like he was furniture. Pip was asleep. The other 2 were playing with the buttons on his jacket. 3 purifier warriors lay unconscious in the corridor outside. The queen stood over him for a long moment. Her amber eyes, identical to her children's, moved from the warriors to Marcus, to the manual bypass he'd rigged with nothing but a wrench and 14 years of quiet, forgotten expertise. She did not speak for a long time. When she did, her Veth'kai was slow and deliberate, the register she used for things that mattered. You could have run. Marcus looked down at Pip's sleeping face, then up at the queen. I know. He didn't say anything else. He didn't need to. The math was written on the walls, in the scorched metal, the crumpled armor, the 3 children who were alive when they shouldn't have been. The Veth'kai had conquered Earth with warships and armies and weapons that rewrote the laws of physics. They had never thought to be afraid of the man mopping their floors. They should have. Humanity doesn't survive because we are the strongest. We survive because we never stop thinking, and we are never, ever what you expect.